Hello and welcome to Lipper Come Together podcast. My name's Cherise Weaver and I'm the Head of Equality, Diversity and Inclusion at the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts, or as it's better known, Lipper. If you're not familiar with Lipper, we are a world-leading provider of university-level performing and creative arts training, an international community of creators, performers, technicians, filmmakers and business people who learn by working together on fully realised projects and productions. During this series of podcasts, we'll be celebrating the creative work and cultural scene in Liverpool and here in Lipper. We'll be chatting to cultural organisations and leaders, artists and performers as we consider how art can make a difference to all of our lives. Hi and welcome to Lipper Come Together podcast, and today we have two fabulous guests with us, and we have the amazing Paislie Reid and the amazing Jernice Easthope. Sorry, I do always get the second name wrong, so it wasn't the first name, it was definitely the second name. So how we normally do this is we start with some quick fire questions. So I am going to start with you, Miss Paislie Reid.
Hello.
If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Chinese dim sum. I've already thought about this a lot
Wow.
in detail. Yeah.
Okay.
Every bit of dim sum I could have from Chinese, and maybe some salt and pepper stuff going on there. Some, like char siu, noodles, fried rice. But yeah, absolutely Chinese.
So not what I was expecting. Janice, over to you.
Mine would 100% be lamb lasagna.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. Lamb
Okay.
lasagna with a nice big piece of garlic bread.
Yeah.
That's me all day.
Making me
that.
hungry now.
Yeah. So my next quick fire question to you guys is, what is your favourite memory of Liverpool?
Ooh. Do you want to go first?
I don't know if I've got an absolute favourite memory, but what a time to kind of be alive, I feel, is whenever, it's quite cliche, but whenever like Liverpool have won a big cup.
Yes.
Like when you see the city like full of everyone who lives here and everyone who wants to come and visit, and everywhere's red and the streets are paved.
Yeah.
Like in terms of Liverpool, everything's happening, everyone's embracing each
Yeah.
other, there's always somewhere to go once the parade's finished. Like
Yeah.
for me, that is like a time to be alive. When
Absolutely,
you know,
and I agree with that. But I'm going to change this question a little bit for you, actually, because you've been doing some stuff here at Lipper. Because the question usually is, what is your favourite memory of Liverpool or Lipper? So for you, I'm going to pose it as, what's your favourite memory of Lipper?
Do you know what's really funny? I remember coming to Lipper in the summer when I was a kid, and I don't even know why we were here or who brought us here, but we did a show and we did forget your troubles, come on, get happy, and all this, and it was like a summer programme and we did a performance, and that was like one of my earliest memories of Lipper. I think I must have been about 10 or something like that, and it was so much fun. So that, and then also I've got a lot of history with this building because One Heart One Voice Choir used to meet here.
Yeah.
Sorry, me throat. One Heart One Voice Choir used to meet here every Thursday, so we had loads of our choir sessions here. I auditioned for Positive Impact here.
Wow.
That's where we did our audition, and then obviously we have the Black Actors Collective here, so I've just got so many good memories of Lipper actually. And then more recently I've been helping with pastoral support on The Gift with the third year students, and that has been just a beautiful beautiful thing to be part of.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of history, and we'll come back to all of that in a minute, but I think you've got a lot of history there and a lot of things that I recognise. I came to watch One Heart, One Voice. My son was also part of Positive Impact, so I remember coming to see him doing rehearsals here and stuff like that. But yeah, there is, and what's lovely as well is hearing the community connection that was here, that we're building on again now through the Black Actors Collective and other things that we're doing. The Black Girls Brunch, we'll come on to that. But my final question to you guys is, what is your, or who is your positive female role model?
I love Viola Davis. Sorry, I don't know why. Please edit out my hems. I love Viola Davis. I think as an actor she's fantastic. I think she's just an incredible artist, and then she's really supportive of people who look like us, and for me that's someone that I strive to have a career like that. But I don't know, I suppose that's in terms of like an acting perspective, but I'm very much a big fan of people in my community. I think they're the people I look up to, you know, on the day-to-day. Even like people who are working in youth clubs, people who are working in the community, like people who are working in the Caribbean Centre. There's far too many to name, but it's the black women I see around my city that kind of keep me going and make me feel like, this is possible.
The hidden heroes and sheroes.
Absolutely.
We've got so many of them, haven't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, over to you, Jernice.
So, again, I think in terms of like who do I feel inspired by, that's what I look for. And I feel inspired by the people who are out there and doing what they're doing unapologetically, despite kind of those barriers, or, you know, not allowing certain things to hold them back. So a lot of people within our community are doing that and don't do it for the glory or for the limelight. And I'd like to kind of put that in terms of like there's a lot of people within creative industries, certain things that have even been said to me, which I go, you are definitely not someone that I can align with, being that, you know, those comments like, oh, you don't have to pull everyone through the door, just leave the door open. And it's like that, you know, they're the things that I kind of like will make my judgment on. You know, I can be inspired by a 12-year-old girl who's, you know, just not got
when this one was 12 singing old.
No, that exactly. But I have to say it, Mariah Carey. Like everything that she's about. I love that she's a diva. I love that she doesn't care. I love that she hasn't even kind of had to justify who she is or what she is. She's having fun with her talent, and isn't that a beautiful place to be?
It really is. And she's had such a journey as well. She's had, everybody loves to come back, don't they?
Yeah.
And if you see her now with the twins, and every year she revives that Christmas song.
Yeah.
And she always comes back bigger and better. So we love that.
Yeah.
So I think that today I'd love to talk about both of your journeys as two black women from the same community that I'm from. Me and Paislie, I feel like I've been on your journey since you was yay high, and watched you come up. And what you just said there, Jernice, I'll get a bit emotional, but for me, you've been an inspiration for me coming into the industry as an actress, and seeing this little, you know, girl just singing her heart out. I'll never forget on when Patrick did the thing in the Neptune. Now the Patrick Graham, that is, at the Neptune, now the Epstein Theatre. And you just stole the show. You know, you really did. And I think everyone was just sitting there in awe, just looking at this little girl, just like singing her heart out and just capturing, you know, that moment and totally owning the stage. You know, there's people that, well, dare I say, that just cannot, just haven't. You've either got it or you haven't, and you must see that all the time as well, Jernice, being a producer. But I'd like you to introduce yourself, how you see yourself, because I see you as an actress, a singer, an all-rounder.
Yeah.
But you would say something maybe a bit different to how I perceive you as a talent.
It's just funny hearing all that from like being a kid, because literally I've got videos of me when I'm like 2 dancing in front of the telly and singing, and so I think it just must have just been in me from when I was little that I just loved to play, I think is the thing. And yeah, I kind of, where I'm at now is I see myself as an actor, a director and a writer. I kind of do a lot of things. So I work a lot in the community. I do a lot of stuff with youth theatre, with young people. I've always done that for years. I used to be a youth engagement worker for 6 years. So it's all kind of like, all the things I used to do sort of tied together and filtered in. I do still sing, but I sing for myself now. I sing for fun. I sing in my house. I sing in the shower. No, but it's just it's just where, I suppose, where my career's taken me, and what I kind of wanted something that was for me, something that was like a hobby, I suppose. But my acting is definitely my passion. And so I've done a lot of theatre over the years. I've worked with some really great theatres. I've worked in Liverpool with the Liverpool Everyman and Playhouse. Done both of those theatres, which has been nice. I've worked in Manchester, I've worked in London, I've worked in Stratford-upon-Avon with the RSC, worked with Frantic Assembly, so I've worked with some really great
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you think about
Yeah.
it.
Just
yeah.
it'd be nice to hear what some of the productions have been as well, because I've been to see some.
Yeah, recently in Liverpool I did Alice in Wonderland, and I also was part of the iconic Liverpool Every Man and Playhouse's pantomime, of which I'm going to see later tonight, the one that's on this year. So I was in Red Riding Hood. Yeah, and then I've just done loads of theatre, loads of different jobs, and then I've been recently getting back into telly. I started off in TV. I did The New Year Switch when I was like 12. Yeah. So that was really cool. I was like one of the leads in that for 2 years. And then now I'm starting to kind of dip my toe back into TV. I've been on The Responder recently, and Casualty, and some other bits that are coming out this year. So it's really exciting.
I heard you've just done Emmerdale recently
I
as
did,
well.
yeah, I
with
did,
a very
Leon.
good friend of ours, Leon Lopez.
Yes.
Little shout out there.
Yeah, Leon
Yeah.
Lopez, what a joy. I worked with Leon actually when I worked with the Royal Shakespeare Company in Stratford-upon-Avon. We did 7 Acts of Mercy together, and obviously I've known him for years. And then he was like, there's a part of a paramedic, do you want to come in? And I was like, yeah, of course I want to come on Emmerdale. Like, how fun was that? So I just got to come in for the day and run around, and I can't wait to see that. It was exciting.
Just be on set, and also I suppose it's lovely being with someone that you know.
Yeah.
So on that note, I'm going to move over to our producer, Jernice. How would you like
I just want to say, like, Paislie, like, I know Paislie, she's a friend, and, you know, whenever, like, you don't really know what people do.
Yeah.
Listening to you, like, give that list of all stuff, like,
Thank you.
you know,
Yeah.
it's impressive, and I think that's kind of something of what we've got in the city. There's a lot of people who are doing a lot of stuff, and you know, we don't always know about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
But for myself, so little fun fact, when I was younger, I was always a creative, but there wasn't many platforms for me to practice what probably I was good at, or where I'm at now. You know, if you can only see what you can see. So I didn't see anyone like me be a TV producer. You know, I think in Liverpool we had Brookside, and you know, that was very much male dominated, and when things happening within the city, there was a lot of people that didn't look like me. So I was in theatre groups, I was in dance, and I was doing stuff. And actually the date always rings a bell. Don't know what year, I reckon, I'm going to show my age now, but I reckon it was 2001 or 2002. February the 16th, I actually auditioned to come here, and I think it was only in its second year. So tell me, how old is Lippa now?
It's going to be 30 years, 2026.
Oh, well, it wasn't that long ago. But, so maybe it was like within its first 10 years, I came and I auditioned on the 16th of February, must have been 2001, to come here as a student. And I didn't want to do it. And I was like, remember they used to prepare one song? I was like, I can't sing. Absolutely can't. I believe I can, but I know I can't.
Yeah.
And we had to, like, you know, have like interviews, but if you were in Liverpool, you were guaranteed the audition. You know, it wasn't kind of like a rejection of, you know, going through the UCAS or whatever that was. And I didn't get in, and it was absolutely fine, because it was obviously not the right choice for me. But I wanted to be in something creative in the city, and there was nowhere else for me to go. There was nothing else for me to do. I was like, you know, moving around doing some theatre, but you know, I embarked and I went to John Moore's instead, and you know, I'm glad that I did. After uni then, of doing TV and film, I then went into business with Airbeats, with Yao Owusu and Kofa Owusu, and then we just started doing bits. Like, we knew that there was a gap and we needed it to be filled, because there was nowhere for an outlet or nowhere for us to attend like events. We should do like Soul Sundays, which would be, you know, artists would come up and jam, and we like all these things that are really like buzzing now in the city. Talking, you know, good 15 to 20 years ago, we were doing that. We were the people who were like producing like local CDs of local artists. We were making short documentaries and films, and it grew and grew and grew, which allowed me after uni to have a great CV to showcase what my talent is and what I could do. So getting into the TV industry was quite easy for me. I didn't have to do like any runner positions. I just went straight in. My first job within television was a researcher on Ross Kemp and Gangs. It's quite heavy to kind of be, you know, in that style of a production with sensitive topics and dealing with people who, you know, have lost people through, you know, violence and stuff. So that was my first kind of insight into to the industry, and it's just grown from there. I mean, you know, only when I start thinking back chronologically of what I've done X Factor, I've done The Voice, I've done Britain's Got Talent, Dragon's Den, Gino's Win Your Wish List, Housewives of Cheshire, Celebs Go Dating, Celeb X on the Beach. You know?
Okay, a little round of applause there for you.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, no, and it's kind of like it. The one thing about it, it's impressive, but it isn't easy.
Yeah.
It isn't easy. You're there and you're faced with so much. Again, you're the only person that might look like yourself or have an understanding. Pair that up with being, I've never worked in this city until recently, which we can speak about in a bit.
Yeah.
I've never worked in this city. I've never worked on a production that's, you know, been remotely near home. I've worked, you know, across the US and the Caribbean, in Europe and the Middle East, which has been very fortunate. And I know that I'm very privileged to do that. And I know you don't always have to be, but when you are a mixed race woman from Liverpool in an industry that is 8% working class, there's so much that goes against you, and there's so many things, and they just don't, you know, people who are the powers that be, they don't believe in you. That's all it is. They don't affiliate with you and what they might think of a northerner, you know, or, you know, it doesn't always work. So it's hard. It's been like really, really hard, and it's like, you know, sometimes I look back at some of those credits and I actually feel trauma, you know, because I was a younger person being treated in a certain way, and it's only like as you get better, as you get older, you get better at understanding your worth and your value and your presence and what you represent, and you can kind of say no. So, you know,
I just want to come back to what you just said there, and I know it's a little bit more of a serious topic, but that trauma that you mentioned, I was in a meeting with, who I will be bringing on as well, the Race Equality Hub, who are doing some great work in the city at the minute. And that was one of the things that was mentioned, and they've set up like a creative round table, and they were talking about within the city some of the trauma that a lot of freelance artists go through, because there isn't a support system, and I've had my own experiences, I'm sure you have, Paislie, but I live in the hope that people like ourselves are able to do things like what we're doing today to support each other, and other things like what you're doing, which we'll come on to as well, which is what's it called in the room?
A room that looks like
me. A room that looks like me, and, you know, the Black Girls Brunch. And I think the Black Girls Brunch, going back to what you said earlier about your favourite, you know, thing about Liverpool, or memory even, is that unity of when you're able to bring people together who are all there for the same reason, and there's a sense of hope and joy, and appreciation of each other as people, as in that sense of scousers coming together to all celebrate football or whatever it is, and in this sense it's about being black women in the creative industry and supporting each other, and I think we just need more of that, and wherever we can,
I think that's like one thing that people from Liverpool, scousers, we know how to celebrate. You know, we punch way above our weight. We are, you know, we're a small city, we're not huge, but like, you know, it's like any big thing, like, I mean, don't know how many times we've had the Giants and whether we believe in them or not. But like, it's kind of like brings people to the streets. You know, the fact that we had, you know, we've had MTV do the music
MTV
video awards and stuff, and then we've had the Eurovision. Like, we are a small city.
Sorry, it was the Mobos, and that was through Benjamin Osu. Did I just shout out another name there? I think he wrote a letter, or there's a story behind that. I'll have to get him in so we can tell that story actually. But exactly what you're saying also brings me to the Black Actors Collective. And when I first came into my role here at LIPA, and Paislie got in touch with me, and then I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that. And
so basically when it was 2020 and George Floyd was murdered, a lot of arts organisations kind of went through a bit of a truth and reconciliation, and looking at themselves and looking at how the systems they have in place can uphold systemic racism, and so a lot of theatre companies were really interested in doing something about that, trying to, you know, rectify some of the problems that we have faced, some of that trauma that you're talking about. and 20 Stories High, I was working for them at the time as a freelancer, and part of my job with them was we went into like the Everyman Theatre. We had a meeting with them. We spoke about, you know, how they can do things better, and a lot of other theatre companies were open to that, but some definitely weren't. And one of the replies we got from a local theatre was, we've tried to employ black actors, we just can't find them. And that has been the excuse for years and years and years, and I was just so bored of it, if I'm gonna be honest. I was just like, this is so boring, like, why just tell the truth. So I was like, okay, well, you can't find them, well, let me start writing a list. So I just went on my phone, it started at first, and I just literally off the top of my head reeled off like 20 black actors that I knew in the city. And you know, there's some black actors in the city who've done amazing things, you know what I mean? Like, you've got like Alicia Ayo, who was in like Bad Girls, and she's done all kinds of her careers, amazing. Obviously you've got like the likes of like Kathy Tyson, who's flying now and she doesn't even live here anymore. She's do you know what I mean? She's a local legend. But you have got like a lot of local actors, like Winston Branch, you've got obviously yourself, Cherise, you've got me, obviously you've got like the list goes on and on. It's like we've got 47 members in our collective, so to name them individually I'd be here all day. But it started off with a list of 20, and we got together, and we basically created a WhatsApp group, and from that WhatsApp group I was like to Cherise, you know, are you going to join? Like, what's going on? And Cherise had just started your role, haven't you, in LIPA as head of EDI, and through that was able to get us the space at LIPA, which has been amazing to have LIPA's support, because I know LIPA's been on their own journey as well, you know, and I think it's really important to make us feel so welcome and invited, and then that obviously the impact of that filters into our community, and then we go, actually LIPA's a space we can have access to, actually they've got shows we can watch, and so on and so forth. And maybe some of the younger generation will go, I can come to LIPA because they see us in that building. So it works in all different ways. But the collective, we have 47 members in our WhatsApp group where we share like castings, we share each other's shows to support. There's loads of stuff like that, and then we meet in person fortnightly at LIPA. And at the moment we're devising, and the session we had yesterday was so exciting, because one of the things we're really interested in is like, what happens when we're in the room and we get to decide what we're going to make? Because oftentimes as a black actor, you're going into a space where maybe the play hasn't really been written for you. You know, maybe the characters
doesn't kind of sit within what you want to do and how you want to do it. Like there's opportunities there for you to kind of unpick certain things. When it comes to devising a script, you can the ability to change characters or change scenarios. And
it's either like you either feel like you're coming in to do a part that really was written for a white actor, or it's slavery, or it's trauma, and it's like, maybe I don't want to do that all the time, and there's a time and place for that, and it's absolutely valid and important, but it's not the only thing we're capable of. I always say black people work in H&M, like, do you know what I mean? We're just normal people, and I think that humanisation of us and our stories is actually what breaks down some of these barriers when it comes to racism and things like that, because then people get to see, oh yeah, we're so similar actually in a lot of ways to each other.
I think between all of us, the three of us, that we're all breaking different barriers in different ways. You know, just talking about working as an actress, and I felt for many years like after Kathy Tyson I was one of the only black actresses in the city, because I didn't see other actresses around, do you know what I mean? They were here, I just didn't see them. But what I'm seeing now is the next generation underneath me. There's so many, and there's a lot more opportunities than there definitely was for me coming up. I feel like everything I did, I had to fight tooth and nail for it. You know, working with Colin McEwen on Liverpool One, for me, that was major, because I was 25, I was brand new. I'd been to college and stuff studying, but I hadn't actually really done the TV thing. So to be on set and be with all these people from Brookside and different stars, people that I'd seen on telly, I was like, okay, wow, this is kind of it. What I didn't realise is that after that, that was then the struggle, the fight, if you like. But what a journey it's been, because where we are now, to be able to come together, you know, me, two actresses together, and be able to offer and create a space where people feel safe, where they feel held, where they're getting all that experience that you bring into the room as well. Do you know what I mean? And you share everything.
Can I share something with you? Because last night after the session, a few people messaged in the group, and one actually did a voice note, which I won't share because that's quite personal, but just talking about why it was so important to them. And I think sometimes it's easy for me to say why it's important to me, but some of the messages we had after last night's session was a great session, everyone smashed it, really good ideas form and stuff like that, but then people were like, it's excellent, it's fun filled, this is probably one of the best, I feel so incredibly blessed to be among all of you amazingly talented people. And one of my friends actually said, like, there's no egos, this was on the voice note, there's no egos in this place, like, she said, I didn't know how much I needed something like this. And the thing is it's not just about being able to kind of get the experience of acting, it's also like just being like safe, being able to be silly, not having to code switch, just playing with each other and having fun and all of that stuff. And one of them was saying, like, we work really hard in our day-to-day lives, so to just come here and go to aubergines and all this, it's like it's just so needed, and it's actually really important for your well-being. So that's the other side that I think feels really, really important. And then just off what you said then, Cherise, about like doing something like that, being on set, and then it's weird because for me, I did like 2 seasons of a CITV series from when I was 12 till I was 14, so I kind of like started here, like really high up, and then it was like, oh, now what, like now, and then it was like, no, and then what do you do? And I think interestingly at the moment Liverpool's got a lot of stuff being filmed here, which is really great for the city and it's exciting, but I still feel like black people are not as included in that as they should be. You know, like I think there's definitely some black actors getting opportunities, and that's great, but when you think about something where the whole premise is about Liverpool, oftentimes the black actors are the side characters or the people who come in, and so and when I look around, when I walk around Toxteth where I live, I bump into me black shopkeeper, me black butcher. I've got like, you know, the whole of the global majority lives in Liverpool, and it's a very diverse city, and I still don't feel like we're getting, especially even from East Asian community as well, you know, like we have the oldest Chinese community in Liverpool, and we don't see that represented. When do you see an East Asian scouser on your screen? And it's not that they're not here. So I think we've got a long way to go still.
I think so, but I think there's something in the fact that you just said that you started off in like the worst witch, and then where I started with Liverpool One, it's kind of, we were catapulted into, you know, that kind of position, but when that position was over, there was no one to say, well, this is where you need to go next. So there wasn't, you know, I think it's different now with reality TV, because once you're seen and you're on Twitter or you're on whatever platform, then people can see you constantly, so people will get more work, whether it's down the reality route or whatever it is. Whereas I think
social media helps a lot,
I think
it?
so, and you can talk a little bit about that as well, Jernice, with the new programme that you've just produced as well. But again, I remember when we actually had the first meeting for the collective, the Black Actors Collective, and there was 5 of us in the room. It started off with 5 people, just with ideas, but because of your passion and my passion and our experience, and thinking, what can we do to make this, to give something, to offer something that we didn't have. For me, that's what the main thing has been about. I feel more like a silent partner in the collective, which is fine, because I'm able to still dip in and out and see what's happening, and we've got lots of ideas of where we want to see that go. And also we see a lot of the actors, you know, we've got an actor that's in Coronation Street. A lot of the actors are high profile, and some are, you know, just brand new coming in. And I think I'm going to move this over to you, Jernice, because I know one of our actors has been involved in something that you've just recently done. If you want to talk a little bit about that, and also about the Black Girls Brunch and the other things that you're doing.
So with Black Girls Brunch, just touching on what you mentioned earlier about not every day do we need to kind of gather or be seen when it comes to an injustice or looking at Black history or looking at us from a victimisation. We know that we live that and we understand where we're coming from. And it's great that, you know, we don't forget and we do have those conversations. It's really important. It's important that we're having this conversation today. But there's also, what about, why can't we all go together and celebrate, enjoy? And that's one of the reasons why Black Girls Brunch exists, because if anyone who has been to Black Girls Brunch will know they're going to have the time of their life. We're not sat kind of doing anything to do with an injustice or, you know, a kind of anything that would be associated with the typical black people are getting together to discuss or to display and talk about all the unfortunateness that goes on within our community. It isn't about that. It's pure about joy and celebration. And that's exactly what everyone who is performing on that stage understands, that they can be their creative self because it's their space. Anyone can attend, anyone can come and support, because that's what it's about. It's not an event for black women to come to, which, you know, is conversations that we, you know, slowly are being able to see, like more men coming to it, white people coming to it, you know, anybody anyone over the age of 18 is able to come and support these women. So, you know, it's been going now just over 2 years and 7 events in, and it's growing and growing and growing, and it's getting a lot of support as well from, you know, other arts institutions and organisations in Liverpool. So it's great to see that, you know, from an idea that I had actually get to this point. I still can't believe it's me that does it. Don't know how it does it. Like, honestly, don't know how it comes together. But, you know, there's opportunities there that, you know, it can grow, where people can kind of come and work on it. And I'm constantly having meetings with people who want to support, want to help, and want to get involved, and that's great. So from that then has derived a room that looks like me, which is a collective of black female creatives who are out there working within that field, but don't have that network of support, and also might want to go and be more visible than what they are. So it's about, you know, learning about each other's roles and what we do in this city, you know, how we got there, and we'll deliver a seminar based on our specialist skill, and as well as an industry insight. So like Paislie is in a room that looks like me, and it's very much a place where you can, we do a lot of it online, so you know, we've met in person, and we've had headshots together, and we're going to, you know, push it as a huge press launch with it, because we're going to say this is it, there's a platform here. Again, similar, it isn't about like, oh, creating something like the Black Actors Collective, but it's about being visible. It's about, you know, there's different people, from directors, camera assistants, editors, makeup artists, dancers, comedians. There's so many different skill sets within there. I mean, imagine if we made a production ourselves.
I know, it'd be funny, wouldn't it?
These are all people who are very much within the industry, embedded in the industry, and to have connections within this cohort now, then you know that you might not have really spoke to that person, you didn't really know what they'd done, but now you've got that connect. I'm only hoping that, you know, each year there'll be a new cohort of women as well, and, you know, there's that opportunity to bring people up and support people. So, you know, those two things have what allowed me to get myself back embedded into Liverpool, because, as I say, I've never worked here. I've never worked in this city, and I've been so busy doing everything. Not that I feel like I owe it to my city, but it's like there is no point sitting complaining about, oh, there's none of this and there's none of that. Well, why don't you go and do it? Go and create it. And also, everybody needs an outlet. Listening to you say, like, you have a hard day at work, I've been working in H&M, but I can come and talk about my fruit. And why not? Like, we all deserve a creative outlet. Let's, like, it's, you know, being creative is just as important as eating healthy, is just as important as exercise. Like, we should all be able to, you know, honour that. So, so the not working in Liverpool is one of the reasons why I kind of want to be able to have my city understand what I am and what my talent is, and I think it's come a long way to kind of be able to put myself out there amongst my city, because, you know, there is trauma associated with that. You know, but I want to sing. I've done amazing things, and I'm going to continue doing amazing things, and it's kind of like, if I can't sing about that in my own city, like, why is it, you know, I can move around the UK and people recognise what I've done or know who I am. I need to be able to, you know, advocate that, because if I can kind of show people that, you know, there is a possibility, you can go out there, and everything does start with hard work. You don't, nothing is for free. So I do want to slow down and come back home. I do want to, which has been great.
You know, when hearing you say that though, like, for me, I worked everywhere else before I worked in Liverpool, and it was almost like I had to prove myself everywhere else before I worked in my own city, and that was just so sad for me. So I wonder if you have that experience.
All great people do leave though, and can, you know, the best people come back as well. So, you know, it is, I think, like Liverpool, as I say, I mentioned earlier, we punch above our weight, but when it comes to opportunities, they're not always there. They're not. It's not. You know, it's just how it is. And, you know, we're in the corner of the country, aren't we? You know, so it's like there's only one way in, one way out. And we don't have huge industry here, so we grab it while we can. But it is. I always say, if we could bottle what it is to be a Scouser.
Yeah.
I'm selling, you know, the world will be a
passion.
better place. Which brings on to the question about, you know, me working on It's a Scouse Life.
Yeah.
And that's been a project that I've worked on from development and the casting process going back into 2023 with Optimum. And it's a Channel 4 commission. And, you know, the industry is very up and down at the moment in terms of, you know, what's going on. Because it's changing, it's going digital, you know, people watching TV as much, not switching it on and watching 7 o'clock news or, you know, 8 o'clock soap. It doesn't work that way. So broadcasters are, you know, finding it hard to commission things because they're like, they can't just commission it, they really need to know it's going to work. So It's a Scouse Life went out on the 12th of November. And it was a TX pilot, which just means a broadcast pilot, rather than making a pilot and then the commissioners look at it and see whether they like it. They know they like it, but they've also got to test it and they've got to make sure that it's going to drive people to, you know, watch E4. And that's what it's based on. It's about, you know, seeing what the analytics are in order to get it back. But the beauty of being able to knock on doors of Scousers and look at representation and kind of say, this is a chance for us to wipe our slate clean, not think of Brookside, which is great, you know, but it was 80s and 90s. We are now in 2024. Let's think, you know, let's not go on all of the other, I don't even want to mention the names, but all the other series and all the other documentaries that have always left it with a bitter taste in our mouth that we feel embarrassed about, that we know it's not a true representation of Liverpool. This is a clean slate, and I'm sure if anybody watches it, we always cringe. No one likes to wear the Scouse accent. We don't always that place, and although
I love my Scouse accent. I took elocution classes, and every time I'd come out, I would fight against it. I love my accent.
In general, though, a Scouse audience, a Liverpool audience, we go, oh, why have you just done that? And what's that? But you know, it's a great kind of show, and it's got good quality to it, and it's only going to get better if it is commissioned. And yet, you know, there's other actors in there. When you were saying, like, you know, we have like from East Asia, we've got a Scouse Filipino, Reid, who's also been on The Voice, and she's star quality. And she's absolutely amazing. She's on the show, and you know, it is a diverse
Can
cast.
we get her on the podcast?
She probably will, you know, she's
I've heard her sing and she's amazing.
Yeah, unbelievable. We've got great talent, and I think, you know, she's owning that as well, which is great, you know, in terms of a lot of the press that she's doing around it. She's talking about, you know, look at me, I'm Scouse, I bet you didn't think that I was here, you know. There's other cast members, because, you know, it's a pilot, the cast is wide, I think there's 16 people, so, you know, we've had to focus in on certain stories and, you know, think what's easy and what's going to transcend and what will people be able to resonate with being Liverpool. And, you know, there's maybe some other cast members that would have seen it from a different perspective, but you know, all we're praying for is it's going to go to a series and you'll be able to see what a true reflection of Liverpool is. And you know, it is giving people opportunities, as you've said, like reality television. It's reality, it is what it is. You can be whoever you want to be, because we're going to follow your reality, we're bringing that in to it, and then who knows where that might land you. If you want to be an actor, you can go on be an actor. If you want to be a singer, it's only just going to you know, put you on a platform. And I think that's what's needed, not just for women, not just for black women, not just for Scousers, but this is needed in Liverpool. Let's change what, you know, the narrative, what people think about Liverpool as a city. You know, it isn't all doom and gloom. It isn't, you know, you're going to get your car wheels robbed and it'll be like, you know, all those jokes that we sit and laugh about, but really it's derogatory.
I think it is becoming an old narrative though, because I find that a lot of people now that come to Liverpool that are visiting, they absolutely love it. They can't get enough, because we are one of the friendliest cities in the world.
We are a destination.
We are, and we're so fortunate and lucky. When I visit other places, I know you guys probably feel the same. And if I'm not welcomed into a country or a city, I'm kind of like, because we're spoiled. We are so spoiled in that way.
I mean, I'm dead. I need to think about how I can contact the council, actually, because the noise pollution in our cities. Like, if you walk past,
there's so much music.
Just the music coming out, and it's sometimes like, you know, it's just. I don't understand how anyone can live in the city centre of a weekend, because I just think
I couldn't.
It just must illuminate every weekend with lights. Am I sounding dead old now?
No,
but you know, like, it's like you've got like the windows open and they're just blaring out like music, and it's always a certain type of music.
Do you know what's funny about it though? It makes me, like, I only thought about it the other day because when I had a cast here, because obviously when I do shows in Liverpool, and like there's a lot of the time the cast aren't all from here, and like I remember them going like, wow, there's loads of music, isn't there?
So much,
and I was like, I'd never noticed it, because I was just so used to it, and then I realised, and I was like, oh well, no wonder we all sing, because literally every pub is just blaring out music. It's like, it's just in us, isn't it? But going just off what you said as well, Janice, it's like, I think that's the thing that we're itching to do as a collective as well. It's like kind of reclaiming this narrative of what Liverpool is and what does a Scouser look like, what does a Scouser sound like how do they dress, like loads of these things that like they still think we're walking around in our pyjamas with rollers in our hair, and it's just not the case. Like, do you know what I mean? And I just think, I think it's exciting to see like different types of like what a Scouser actually is on reality TV, and then that will hopefully inform what happens then with fictional television as well. Do you know what I mean?
It does change the narrative, and I think we do deserve it, because regardless of what we look like or how we are, all Scousers are the same.
We're similar,
loyal,
fiery.
You know, they're opinionated. You know, we are all the same.
We've got a boss sense of humour as well, I think, and you just get ripped, don't you? Like I think from a young age, all your mates just rip you, so you get used to like
coming back with something.
and just the banter's like
so when you go outside to Liverpool and you crack a joke and it doesn't land.
They're defended, aren't they?
It just doesn't land, or you just as well as it might make us like look as if we're not quite serious, but like we crack the dark. We've got dark humour, and I think it goes back to the fact of we're a poor city, very poor city, working class city historically, and when you think of a lot of the things that have come into the city over the years, and I'm talking like the past 50 decades, there's been a lot of cultures, there's been a lot of music, and a lot of like reasons as to why we need to sing. We need to create our own noise, we need to create our own atmosphere, and it goes back to like pubs where people were constantly writing poetry and singing. We had a lot of Irish coming into to the city, and they brought their folk music and they brought everything. So it has an effect of like, why are we special? Is because it is on our DNA.
And I'm glad you brought up Airbeats as well, because for me, like, I obviously was part of Airbeats when I was in my grime MC phase, lol. But just the fact that like it's so interesting, because Stormzy's got a song where like I think it's Crazy Titch is on a voicemail, and he goes, like, even people in Liverpool, I don't even know if they know what grime is, but they know about Stormzy. And I was fuming, because I was like, we had such a grime scene, and I'm talking in like 2003 2004, around that time. The Picker, if you remember the Picker, Airbeats used to put on like nights and stuff, and we'd come in and then they'd be like YOC, Grime Fam, RFG, all these different MCs clashing, and it was like old school, like grabbing the mic decks, like it was sick, and it was such a that energy, and like I think a lot of the times
as an outlet, it was important.
It was so important to express,
when
like
you can see amongst peers up and down the country have got avenues and venues that are putting things on, and
it
like,
wasn't
this
for
city
us.
doesn't really support that, let's face it doesn't, but knowing that there's like one event one month or once every other month, like, it's kind of like, let me go